Let's begin.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join us today. During this tragic and unprecedented time in Israel, it is so important for us to be together, and that's really the purpose of this call. We're one community. Our Global Connections leaders in New Jersey, along with our across the greater Metro West, and then we're standing with our family in Israel, united in solidarity. During this painful time, we'll continue to hope that Israel prevails. Today, Zev Sherrill, Michal Zur, Martine Yaffe, and Penny Aarons and I will share some updates with you all. And then you'll hear some things that are going on the ground at our Kehillah and in our community in Israel. For those who I haven't had a chance to meet yet on this call, my name is Craig Grosswald. I'm the chair of the Israel and Overseas Allocation Committee. I've been on the Federation board for just about 3 years now. I was part of the Peoplehood 5 program, and I'm the treasurer of Jewish Services for the Developmentally Disabled and the immediate past president of Temple Beth Shalom. So I'm able to see allocations from both sides of the fence, both from the giving side as well as the receiving side within our community. Before we begin this, we'd like to show a quick video from Sunday, October 8th, when nearly 2,000 of our greater Metro West community members gathered at Temple B'nai Jeshurun in Short Hills for a Solidarity Israel rally. Thanks, Hannah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Zev Sherrill, Chair of Global Connections. And the reason that we're calling what we're doing here today, We Are One, is because we're not only one here working together with Global Connections and Israel Overseas and Allocations, Craig, me, and the amazing teams we've put together, and the amazing professionals that are working at our side who are available all the time. We're also one with our family and friends in Israel. And one of the things that sort of has struck me the most, I'm very much going off script here, everybody, because I just have to, is that we don't just talk the talk, we are really walking the walk. We are doing every single thing we can possibly do in partnership with, I don't think they're really friends in Israel. They're sort of not community, they're family. And every moment that we spend on the Zooms with Israel, we feel like it's such an honor to represent all of you and represent our community. So with that, we're excited to welcome some of our lay leaders and professionals. We have Daniel from Ofakim, Shani from Arad, Mufid from Horfesh, and from the Israel office, we have more family, of course. We have Michal, and we have Ariel Arani, the Israel Partnerships Network Director. And now what I'd like to do is just walk you through a little bit about how our structure is working. And hopefully so there we go. So the way that we've been working together is within 48 hours of October 7th, we were on a Zoom with Michal and Ariel. Ben, me, Penny, Craig, and we were reviewing allocations and working together. So we have these pillars. The pillars are on the upper right, and they're in the lower purple. But really, it all comes together in this common love and bond of taking responsibility for allocations. And I have to tell you that a lot of our global connections has been focused the last 13 days on allocations. It's been the work that really Craig is leading, and including the regular Zoom that we had this morning. It's such an honor to see how Michal is conducting herself and thinking about our priorities, thinking about all the different funding sources that are out there, and where we have special connections. And so this chart, I could also put up a chart that has sort of a two lanes going in the same direction. And we're literally side by side working in lockstep. And it's such a pleasure. I knew Craig from the board, but it is such a pleasure to be working with Craig and with our unbelievable professionals over the last 2 weeks. And again, I mean, my takeaway here is what an honor that together we are really walking the walk. So with that, I'm now going to go back on script, and I'm going to hand it over to Craig, and he's going to walk through some of the allocations and an update on our fundraising.
Yeah, one thing I do want to mention, Zev, with that chart is, Rebecca Gold is going to be helping us with an advisory committee, and thank you, Rebecca, for all the input. But with as many moving parts as we're trying to make change this year, we thought it was important to have an advisory committee for Zev and myself to be able to lean on, to get history and to also make sure that we're following suit with what the historical place is, and then our ability to push this forward in a little bit of a different direction.
And thank you, Rebecca, for really thinking through it with us, and working so diligently with us to make it work. And we're in the beginning. We're in the beginning days, and I think Rebecca, we are doing you proud. And I really believe we're doing everybody here proud. And that's what I want to say. I mean, I'm just honestly like, everybody here, listen, we have enough trouble sleeping at night, but one thing is, we are part of an amazing federation. Like, and Craig's going to update you. Like, we're amazing. Like, it's not just the events we do here. It's the money we put to work and how we have these unbelievable relationships. I mean, you couldn't ask for more. I mean, this is real purpose. So with that, back to you, Craig.
Yep. So let me talk about what's been happening over the last 13 days. In the way of dollars and cents. We've raised over $25 million in just 13 days, with over 2,000 donors to the emergency fund. The gifts to that fund are helping to support our partners on the ground. And we've been working with Michal and Ariel every Thursday. The team here with Ben, Penny, Martine, Zev, and myself, along with Michal and Ariel, work on looking at funding through the emergency lens. And we've given last week we gave $200,000 of funding that went directly to our communities. When I look at what the executive board has done, they gave $1 million for the from the board managed fund to our partners. So 400,000 went to Jaffe, the Jewish Agency for Israel. Another $400,000 went to the American Joint Distribution, the JDC. And then we had $200,000 of direct funding into our partner communities. Those dollars were allocated around food. Half of the 200 was for mental health services, which we believe is going to be probably a mainstay with the horror and the terror that these folks have dealt with. We've also funded games and activities for our kids, medical and emergency gear for the kibbutzim, and then we also funded some large shiva tents for funerals and so families could have a ceremony. So we're also looking forward. Food continues to be an issue. Mental health is going to continue to be an issue as we move forward. And what we're finding is these families that have been displaced need respites and retreats. And so we've been able to fund some of that. And what we found out this morning is, and we'll go through a little bit more at a later point, but there's needs for educational needs and some other things that aren't on this list that we're looking to fund hopefully next week and continue to keep the dollars going to Israel. So Zev, let me pass it back to you.
That's great. So I want to just go through a couple of the things that we've done over the past 13 days. And I have to tell you, I think this is more for our Israelis to understand, because I think many of you know these facts, but the way this community is stepping up here is pretty remarkable. I mean, within 48 hours, we had 2,200 people at a rally. We had over 45 rabbis of all denominations sitting on the bima. We gathered for the centennial event in a way that was 100% reformatted to focus on our Israel brethren. We continue to update the community through Facebook Live events. We had one last Friday. We co-sponsored a rally in Livingston on Sunday, which had thousands of people. Nearly 70 groups took part, and inter-community groups, which is important, and various faiths. We had a Homeland Security briefing on Monday, and we've put 200,000 to work already, as Craig said. And we also had a special briefing on Wednesday with an IDF spokesperson. And we will continue at this same velocity to not only make awareness and raise funds, but also to send a message to all of our family and communities in Israel. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Michal.
Shalom, everyone. Live from Mitzpe Ramon. We're still here. Not sure when we can go back. Currently, the kibbutz is still a closed military area. We might be able to go in the next few days, sorry, just to grab some personal belongings, but not to stay there. So we're preparing ourselves for about a month to stay here. The kids will probably start going to school on Sunday. My son just realized that we're staying here for a while. רגע. לא עכשיו. So actually he was excited about the possibility of going back and just grab some stuff. We miss home. That's the bottom line. We miss home. I wanted to share with you that yesterday we visited Ofakim and Merchavim for the second time this week, this time with Dov. And our team on the ground, we went to see Igal's family. The Shiva was over, but we met with his wife and with his kids and heard about his bravery and heroic action that got him killed, but stopped the terrorists from getting far worse. The amount of ammunition that was found on them was just unbelievable. They used about 10% of what they brought with them. So, despite the scale of this terrible terror attack, it could have been much, much worse. In Merchavim, we saw an unbelievable act of volunteering from the community, from the local communities, arranging a place for soldiers who are coming in and out of Gaza, arranging for them a place to sleep and to shower and to rest for a few hours and to eat. And through our office here and the volunteers on the ground, we were able to add to their capacity to feed the soldiers and to hug them on our behalf. Kibbutz Erez, as I said, is still here in Mitzpe Ramon. We got everything, all the physical needs covered. Our challenge now is to keep the community together, to live as a kibbutz, the way we believe in here when we're far away. I also want to mention the Rishonim, unbelievable work that they're doing and the networking that they have with each other between the different cohorts, volunteering, raising awareness, sharing their stories, volunteering. Many of them are now in reserve duties. We'll get you pictures of them for Shabbat. But they use each other. Do you know? Can you get me? Who knows? Who's familiar with? And the amount of work that they're doing for others is just inspiring. Also, on the happy news, on the good news area is Noah from our team, who is finally able to. Once Noam, her husband, woke up and is starting to recover. It will take a while, but he's young and strong and will recover. So she was able to finally let go and gave birth to a healthy baby boy who cries a lot. We know Noah, so it's not surprising. But it brought us so much happiness and smiles, and we're happy. I can share with you that the partnership network is also very, very active, and here in Mitzpe Ramon, we have soldiers who are helping us with the teens and with the youth and the activities. And one of them, I met with him yesterday, just asking questions, and find out that he's from Ramat Eliyahu, and he's helping the Erez kids in Mitzpe Ramon. So we're still here. We're on the ground. We'll do whatever we can to make our partners feel hugged and to help them in any way we can. I'm happy to introduce you to Mufid Mari, our partner from the north. As we speak, there's a barrage of Kassam in the area of Khorfesh. I don't know if it's specifically in Khorfesh, but all over the area. So Mufid, if you want to share some updates from the Chazit Tzfonit, from the north. Mufid?
Yes, I opened the
אהלן.
Hi, מה נשמע?
בסדר, מה שלומך?
I am my home in Khorfesh. I don't living. We stay here. We try to be ready. In the north here, Hezbollah is shooting. Now we shoot to Nahariya, Shlomi, in the morning, before 3 hours, to Manara. Every day shooting to the north. So what I say, we try to be ready. The army is more ready than in Gaza, and was in Gaza in the first day of this war. we need to remember that Hezbollah is more strong than Hamas. If he want to continue the war in the Galilee, we have here very, very, very difficult days. We need to be ready. If the question we are ready, the army is ready, I think. We are in Horfesh and the other civilian in the north. I don't think that we are very ready. The civilians was go out from the border of Lebanon to the center. We need to stay to know. I am thinking that Hezbollah it's not stay outside this war. He will be continue in the most of the strong that you can do it in the north. We need to be ready. We need to be ready about the Syrian side, but not only Lebanon. So I hope that we can finish very quick. We cannot stay here and Israel is not can make war for many days. We know to make war few days. It's like Yom Kippur, Sheshet Yamim. I hope that be okay. Thank you.
תודה רבה. Thank you so much, Mufid. Please send our hugs and support to all the
It's
people.
okay. I am bad the safety rooms. It's okay.
Okay, I'm happy to introduce Vered, my neighbor and friend. You're here?
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm Vered. I'm from Kibbutz Erez. Now I'm in Tel Aviv. We took the family for a few days here. We have a few funerals. Today, after 2 days in a row, I participate in 2 funerals, and I don't know how to say it. I never thought I would have to, choose which funerals to go to and which I can't go. Yesterday, we had at the same time the funeral of Amir Naim, one of the group of, I don't know, it's not an army group, the Kitat Konenut.
First response team.
The first response group from the kibbutz, one of them was killed on Saturday, so yesterday was his funeral, and on the same time, we had the funeral of Ophir Liebstein, our mayor, and clearly I couldn't be at both funerals, and I went to Amir's funeral. It was super sad. His wife just told everyone that she is pregnant with his child. His child will never meet him, but for sure we'll know what a brave dad he had. And today I was supposed to go to one of my high school friends who also died in Kfar Aza, and I'm here with the kids, and they have like not a really good day, so I've decided to not go. And unfortunately, tomorrow I'm going to 2 funerals, my husband's cousins, and it's in Kibbutz Shfaim, where all Kfar Aza community is staying there, and I'm gonna go to few Shiv'ah for funerals that I couldn't go to, and friends I couldn't get, and I didn't see for the last 2 weeks. And your support is amazing. I get a lot of messages from all my friends from the Metro West. I'm a host family of a lone soldier from Maplewood who got in touch with me on Saturday and told me that he's gonna be in Israel. He's gonna find a way to get on a plane and come to Israel to join his friends in the IDF, and he just got here, I think, yesterday, and he's doing whatever he needs to join his friends in the IDF that's fighting in Gaza. And your support is amazing. Really, there are no words. Our heart is broken, but we know you are part of our family, and I can't thank you enough, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate your support. So thank you.
Before Martin, before you go, I don't, Michal, do you have anybody else that is going to speak? Michal, one question that I have before Martin goes is there anything that we can or should be doing that we're not doing?
At this stage, I think you're doing a lot. I think raising the voice and telling the stories and sharing the personal stories is a lot. I think the stories of the kidnapped civilians should be number one on the agenda. The world needs to hear. The world needs to act. We will not rest until they're home. It's killing us. It's breaking our hearts. And that should be the number one priority. And I know it's not easy to voice your support to Israel these days. So everything that you do is appreciated. I think
we will never let that get in our way, Michal. We're not paying any attention to that. It doesn't. We are still. It doesn't take away from our advocacy. Not for a second.
And I'll say that
it makes us stronger.
And the personal connections are alive. We see the dealer kids talking to each other. We see the people who cohorts all the time, all day, all night, texting each other and sharing news and photos and stories and support and love and hearts and all the time. So and I know that the yoga connections and the cycling together connection, every group that we ever had, every living bridge that I got a call from people who participated in Kefiada over 10 years ago that they want to do something for Ofakim. Okay, it's like, so it counts. All the living bridges counts, and people are very active in connecting with each other and supporting each other. So I think we're doing what we can. You're doing what you can.
Thank you.
I'll take it from here. It's very hard to continue after those descriptions of what's happening in Israel every day. Having to decide which funeral to go to, that's a question I never thought I would have to ask myself. So, but what can we do? What are we doing? Zev was asking, what are we not doing? I'm going to talk about what we are doing so people can feel a sense of purpose. Our Global Connections community and family has been very busy the last 13 days dealing with a lot of the local important stuff. So first and foremost, we have a big part of Israel in our own community. We have 7 Rishonim and 2 Shlichot that are amazing, that came to take care of us from Israel, that came to educate us, and now it's our turn to support them. So through our Mishlachat committee, which is one of the committees of Global Connections, we're working very hard to try to find and meet the needs of our Rishonim and of our Shlichot. You're going to receive, either later today or tomorrow, a follow-up email from this conversation with a list of options for how you can either sponsor or engage with our Mishlachat, with our Shlichot and our Rishonim, to be able to support them. That means, for example, they have Thursday evening activities every week. Do you have a place where you can host for that activity? They have meals as a group every week. Can you sponsor one of those meals? One of our Shlichot, Maya, is about to give birth, literally today, tomorrow, any of these days. So we want to help her through this difficult time as she brings some light into this world. So if you can sponsor meals for our Shlichot, that's going to be very much appreciated. So there is a sign-up genius that Faith Rakison, the chair of our Mishlachat committee, has put together. We're going to be sending that to you so you can take concrete action and support our Mishlachat, our Israel at home people, in a very concrete way. Second, we want to invite everybody here to join us in our Checking In with Family campaign. What does that mean? We just heard from our friends in Israel how much it means when they get a text message or a phone call from somebody from the Greater Metro West Federation community to our friends in Israel. but there are many people that might not be getting those phone calls or those text messages. So we have been compiling a very long list of people that are either Greater Metro West family members that moved to Israel, maybe lone soldiers, maybe Olim, but also program participants from our Rishonim in the past, our Diller teens, our Peoplehood program participants from the past, everybody that has any connection with the Greater Metro West community, we are making an effort to reach out to them. The first step was to compile a very long list. We have over 500 names that Chana, my colleague, has been really working hard on, along with the rest of the Global Connections team. And now that we have the names, we're inviting volunteers to tell us that they want to help us to make those WhatsApp text messages and ideally afterwards phone calls. We want to be respectful of the time that the Israelis need to process what's going on. So we're not pushing and making immediate phone calls. We're starting by a text message offering to be their point person, their connection here in Greater Metro West. So I'm sending on the chat Chana's email.
Martin,
If
there
you
you go.
happen to, if you happen to know people or want to volunteer to be able to make those text messages and phone calls, please contact Chana. And again, in the email that you're going to get either later today or tomorrow, you're going to see a very specific resource on how to send us the names so we can continue adding to the list. On top of that, we have been engaged in multiple speaking engagement opportunities throughout our community to explain what's going on. We have gone to synagogues, to JCCs, and very soon through our Israel Programming Committee, we're going to be opening up probably an event in which we want to invite the wider community. Once we have more details about that, we will share. But I really want to thank the Global Connections wider family, the chairs, Faith, Julia, Alex, for all the work that you are doing through your committees to make this happen. And I'm very proud. It's really beautiful. I was thinking, right? For us to look at all these images and pictures together here, that's really the purpose of what we're doing today. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing all of you actively engaged in the efforts in the upcoming days. Penny?
Yes, hi. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Good afternoon, depending on where you are. We're going to have some time for a Q&A next after I speak, and we'll ask you to please put any questions that you have in the chat. You can start doing that now if you'd like. I'm Penny Ahrens. I am staffing the Israel and Overseas Allocations Committee this year that Craig is chairing. Many of us, all of us are experiencing grief, sadness, anxiety, and worry because of the crisis in Israel and what we're seeing on our social media feeds. But we don't have to go through this alone. Our two Jewish family service agencies are offering free support. JFS of Central New Jersey for residents of Union County and parts of Somerset County is offering individual mental health counseling provided free of charge for a limited time with trauma-informed licensed social workers. In JFS in Metro West, JFS Metro West for residents of Essex, Morris, and Sussex counties are offering free 1-hour virtual support groups to explore our thoughts, our feelings, and our reactions about the crisis in Israel. A group is scheduled today at noon, and next week groups are scheduled on Monday at 11 a.m. and Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. You can register on the JFS Metro West website, and that information will also be available in the follow-up email that you receive. Just so you know, JFS Metro West is also sending a professional to Friday's meeting when the Early Childhood Center chairs of the parent committees in Greater Metro West are gathering, and they are going to be, the presentation will be how to talk to children about what is happening. And one last thing, the support resources page on Federation's Israel at War Community Resources webpage has links to dozens of resources for early childhood educators, individuals with disabilities, parents and teens, young families, and youth professionals. Please check back often. The page is updated frequently. So now I'm going to turn it back over to Craig for Q&A. Please put your questions in the chat.
Yep, we're happy to take questions in the chat, or if I can see you on screen, I'll be able to do it that way as well. So. Barbara Drench, you've got your mute button pressed, so you can unmute yourself when you're ready. Should be on the bottom left.
Yeah, I know.
There you go.
Okay.
Got you.
Question for you, Craig. Is that $200,000 that we've allocated already coming out of the Israel Emergency Fund, or is it a separate fund just dedicated to Global Connections, or from where?
That's coming out of, first, that's coming out of the funds from the board. That was the emergency fund from the board that they released $1 million. So those funds are already, Barbara, they've been sent. They were sent on Monday to Israel, and they're starting to get allocated this week. Michal and Ariel are working to push that money out. We actually had another meeting this morning, which will be coming more out of the emergency fund that everybody has been donating to, that we've got 25 million. But there's going to be an ongoing need probably for the next, for the foreseeable future. And that's kind of where we're going, with the emergency funds will be from here going forward. So I think the one thing is we can't get fatigued on donations. I know that's important. We need to be speaking up with our friends and family and making sure that those QR codes are seen. So we've got a great backlog that's funding, not only our Greater Metro West funds, but also, JDC and Jaffe as well, which are very important agencies that are doing yeoman's work to make sure that funding is spreading beyond just our community and getting those dollars where they're needed. You know what, Ben, maybe you can help me on this one with Susan has asked what is Federation doing and what's happening on the college campuses and how can we help guide them?
Thank you, Susan. So yes, you're right. It's a very difficult time to be Jewish on campus. Thankfully, we already have an infrastructure to support Jewish students. So in Greater Metro West, in our 4.5 counties, we have the Greater Metro West Hillel, which is a program operated and funded by our Jewish Federation. As Michelle just put in the chat, that's one of those things that our annual campaign dollars put in place so that we can make sure we're supporting the Jewish community always. We support the Greater Metro West Hillel is a multi-campus Hillel program that supports 6 campuses in our area. These are campuses that do not have large numbers of Jews. It's the numbers in the hundreds, not in the thousands like we have in our partner community at Rutgers in New Brunswick, which Rutgers Hillel is there and is a partner agency of our Jewish Federation. We fund Rutgers Hillel as well. And so in New Brunswick, there are 6,500 Jewish students, and they have a very robust Hillel in place supporting those students with rabbinic counseling and ongoing support for their efforts to be Jewish and to support Israel. In Greater Metro West Hillel, it's a little different. Each campus that we work on has a different climate. I think about 3 of them, they're not facing outward hostility. There are 3 of them where they are facing outward hostility from campus groups like Students for Justice of Palestine. And our 2 full-time Greater Metro West Hillel employees, Rebecca Adelson's our director and Phoebe Elman's our student engagement coordinator. They're out there. They've been working tirelessly to be there for the students, both in group settings and one-on-one, to give them counsel and support and to help them advocate as those Jewish students are sort of put in this position where they have to be advocates for Israel and the Jewish community with the school administrations. As you know, if you've been reading the news, university administrations are not always well positioned to say the right thing. And so our Greater Metro West Hillel is out there trying to help. I would say that, we have the infrastructure in place. We're helping the kids. we always need, I don't want to overstate it, but we always need financial support. So your gift to the annual campaign this year supports the efforts on all our college campuses, and we hope if you haven't made that annual campaign gift yet, that you will.
Zev, there's a question about a WhatsApp group for Greater Metro West Israeli activists trying to remain together. So I'm thinking that could be an easy takeaway from this call.
I'm happy to answer. We have a group. Anyone that is interested in joining, please let us know, and we're happy to join you.
But before we wrap up,
Hold on, there are a couple other questions real quick, Zev.
Okay, yeah.
Before you hit
some of these questions we probably can do one-offs with folks because they get into a lot of particulars. But you decide, Craig.
I think we can hit them pretty quickly. What is our fair? Paula Saginaw asked, "What's our fair share of the $500 million campaign for JFNA, and where are we to date with our Israeli emergency dollars?"
So
what I heard yesterday is that the dollars they've raised for JFNA, there's about 400 million, of dollars that have already been raised to date. So we're 100 million in 13 days is pretty stellar. And where we are, we're at 25 million for Greater Metro West that we've raised in that same amount of time. So of the 400, if you kind of look at it, we're a pretty substantial donor or a population of those dollars, Paula. So thank you for that question. Robin Polson asked, what can we do as far as local communities and government and school committees that have not stepped up? That's from,
I could chime in. Our
Ben, you can
JCRC,
jump
our
in
Jewish
there for
Community
Mark.
Relations Council, is working on that actively, both pulling together the coalition of the willing, the people who stand with Israel at this moment. Federation is being invited out into the community in various places and ways. I got to represent our Jewish community at a beautiful interfaith vigil in Sukkot earlier this week with 150 people and elected officials from Mars County and interfaith leaders. And we're continuing to do that work to invite people in. Our Elise Shane-Brown, who leads our Holocaust education program, she is in regular communication with public school districts around Greater Metro West already now for years. And as anti-Israel or anti-Semitic incidents arise, she has those relationships and is reaching out to help give them educational support. And Craig, while I'm on, I'm going to respond to Hila also and say, if you're willing on the Israel side to tell your story, and if you're willing for us to share your story, that's actually very helpful. So, you can send a video message, you can send something in writing, you can give it to Ariel in Israel, and he'll get it to us in the United States. And if with your permission and consent, we'll put it onto our social media channels and into our marketing materials and get the word out of your personal story of the experience of what's going on. Thanks.
I want to thank everybody for their questions. I know we're running a little bit over, so Zev, back to you.
So thank you. Yeah, thank you, everybody. I just want to point out Tamar, who's with us today before we wrap up, and just thank her. Tamar, do we see you? I don't see you right now. Tamar, yeah. Tamar was at one of the parlor meetings that I was at on Sunday, and shared part of her experience being here and what she's learning. And I think it must be incredibly hard to be you right now. And I just want you to know we're really in awe of you and how you are holding up. And we're so proud to be associated with you and all of our shlichim. So really, if you were right here, I'd just give you a big, big hug. And I hope that you feel that hug from everybody here. We got to feature Michal and Ariel and our Israel partners, but you're here with us, and you and your team just deserve big, big hugs also.
We're doing nothing compared with what's going on in Israel, and we're proud, and this is what keeps us going. So thanks a lot for that, and we do feel the hug, but our focus is on Israel right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, for being here today. A special thank you to our Israeli family. We will send everyone a follow-up email with links to all the opportunities and resources that we mentioned today. And please, 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 and I think Michelle will be happy that I'm ending here with this, please give generously to the Emergency Fund for Israel, where 100% of the dollars are going to Israel. The website address is on the closing slide.
Yep,
Yisrael Chai.
and do not forget the annual fund as well. It's just as important to keep the momentum going with both. So
Good
we
point.
appreciate the generosity.
Good point. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you. Don't
Thank you,
forget-
everybody.
Thank you.
תודה רבה, להתראות.